she said, what do you think of the resort? And I said, it's fine. It's kind of how I said it. It's okay. I've stayed at nicer places. And she goes, all right, tell me the truth. And I said, okay, this is like horrible. And she goes, oh my God, I thought I was the only one. And she said, you're making me feel so much better. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Life with a Cheri on Top. I am your host, Cheri, and today I am joined again by my husband, Kevin. Hello, baby.
Hello there once again.
He's so excited to do these with me. Come on, you don't hate it, do you?
No, I don't hate
Okay.
it. It's all good.
All right, good. So I wanted to talk today about our recent trip from hell. And so I wanted to explain to everybody kind of why we are the travel snobs that we are first before we talk about the trip. So you obviously travel for a living. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he's the vice president of sales, but he has to travel all of the time, obviously. And I used to work for a company called OAG. And for those who don't know what that is, they published all worldwide airline schedules. They probably still do. I don't really know, but they're a very small company now. OAG stood for Official Airline Guides. So I worked for them and got to travel the world. And I also was a corporate event planner. So I've been traveling for a large portion of my adult life, right?
To nice locations.
To really nice locations, yeah. Because as an event planner, you're scouting out locations to hold events, right? And they, of course, want to wine and dine you and impress you with their resorts. So we are travel snobs. We do know what we like. And we've never really had much of a problem until this particular trip.
I can't recall one.
Yeah, me either. I mean, there's some that we like more than others, but nothing where we were like, oh my God, we are never coming back here. And that is this particular trip. So I had to actually write down the name of the resort exactly the way it shows up because it's a mouthful. So here's the name of the resort that you should never, ever stay at, just so you know. It's Hideaway at Royalton Riviera, Cancun, an autograph collection, all-inclusive resort and casino, adults only. Like, talk about a mouthful.
Yeah, not all of that's true.
No, not hardly any of it's true. Okay, so let's start with day one. Okay, so we get to the resort, and I don't know, I think we landed around noon-ish, and we got to the hotel is not far away from the Cancun airport. So what?
It's
like
15 minutes? I think. Yeah, it's close.
So we checked in, and the check-in process was actually really smooth. And we were shocked that our room was even ready because, normally they're not ready till later in the afternoons. But we had booked a garden view room 6 months ago because I always say, we don't spend a lot of time in the room except to go to sleep, right? We just don't spend time there. We spend time on the resort. So I don't care if we're in a garden view or an ocean view, except for this particular time. And I'll explain that in a minute. So we check into our room, and it's a fine room. There's nothing terribly extravagant about it, and there's nothing terribly bad about it. So it's fine. The room was fine. And we like to occasionally go out onto the balcony of our room and, I don't know, shoot the shit and, watch a sunset, listen to music. Yeah, exactly.
Breakfast.
Right. Yeah. So the first thing we do after we kind of look around the room is head outside to our balcony. And it is anything but a garden view.
I thought that garden was beautiful.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So, garden is apparently a loosely used word in the sense that it was not a garden. It was more of a swamp. And we were on the 3rd floor of the hotel. And so 3 floors below us, there was sort of a ravine, like a concrete ravine where they would drive delivery trucks and stuff in and out on occasion.
Occasionally, no. Yeah, not often.
Yeah. However,
that wasn't the problem.
That was not the problem. The problem was there was all this standing water sitting in this concrete ravine, and it smelled so badly. Like it was sulfur and garbage and a little bit of skunk maybe mixed in there. Like it was so bad that when we walked out, we immediately walked back into the hotel room and went back to the check-in area because, and Kevin is not a throw around your status kind of a guy. He just isn't. And I had to kind of force him to be like, okay, I'm a titanium elite with Marriott. I am not staying in a room that we can't even go outside in because it smells so bad. Right? Is that right? Titanium elite? Is that what you are? Okay. Yes. So this is a Marriott property, obviously. So,
and we had used points to book
we had
this
used
room.
Points. Yes.
And I didn't throw it around because she can see it as soon as she looks at the name, but you made a bigger point of it, which we needed to. Because
I was like we literally can't even enjoy the balcony.
Yeah.
So anyway, and the girl at the service desk, her name was Brenda, and she was trying to be as accommodating as she could, and she was fabulous, by the way. So this is not Brenda's fault at all. But she was saying, the resort is booked. It's New Year's Eve week. So obviously there's a lot of traffic in and out of hotels. She had said, she couldn't move us until day 4, I think. But she did offer to move us on day 4 to a pool view or an ocean view or whatever it was. And we declined because we were like, well, if we have to put up with this for 4 days, what's another 2 days? Right. So we declined.
Yeah. Why move everything mid-stay?
Yeah.
For what it would end up basically a day and a half, one night.
Right. Exactly right. So in lieu of being able to be moved, she did give us these bracelets that said that you were an elite member of Marriott, and we were supposed to be able to access all the diamond lounges and diamond pools. The only thing it excluded was one of the diamond restaurants. So, okay, fine. Whatever. We'll just move on and make the best of this trip. So we thought. So we walked around. Well, we unpacked and then we walked around the resort because we kind of do the same thing everywhere we go. The first thing we always do is unpack, and I love that about you because I'm always that way. And when we first traveled together a gazillion years ago, our first trip together, you were like, oh, I got to unpack before we go anywhere. And I was like, oh, thank God, because I'm the same way. So anyway, we unpack and then we kind of get the lay of the land of the resort. So we are just kind of walking around trying to figure out where things are. And we run across this really long line, and it happens to be for one of the restaurants called Zen, and it's a teppanyaki and sushi place, and it's the only restaurant on the whole property that requires reservations.
Right.
Except for New Year's Eve, but I'll get to that later.
And it's day of reservation. You can't go and say, I'm coming tomorrow.
Right.
You have to show up at 2:30 or 3 o'clock to get in line to book for that night.
So we were actually in line at 2:10, and that line was already pretty long. So I am not a fan of teppanyaki tables. I don't know. I'm just not. Like, it's always the same show, They make a choo-choo train out of the onions.
That's my favorite.
I know. And they flip around their spatulas with the scrambled eggs spinning on the grill and whatever. It's the same show every time. So anyway, Kevin convinced me to do it for a really good reason. And he was like, it's our first night here. Let's go meet a bunch of other couples during dinner around the teppanyaki table. And I thought, okay, that's actually really a genius idea. I married a brilliant man, everybody. So,
yes.
So we made the reservation, and I don't know, it was for 7:00 that night or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And then we, I don't know, we just kind of mulled around some more, and I don't know, probably went to a bar and got a drink and then got ready for dinner. I imagine that's kind of the sequence of things.
It was pretty boring, but yes.
Yeah, because it was a gray, overcast day.
Yeah.
Obviously not the fault of anybody. It was just a gray, overcast day. And although it was like warm-ish, it wasn't like warm enough to go to the pool. So anyway, so we go to dinner, and it's a table set for 12, and it's Kevin and I, and the other 10 people are one family. They're just one family that are celebrating the birth of a new baby or something.
Pregnancy, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So
we were not talking to them much.
No, well, they were Chinese and they were speaking in Chinese, so we really couldn't participate in their conversation. They were very nice. They spoke English and they would say a couple things to us, but for the most part,
they were there celebrating their thing, and we were not included in it
right.
at all.
Yeah, and there was 10 of them and 2 of us, so we didn't get to meet anybody except that family that night.
We didn't even meet the waiter at that.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's what I was getting to. So, when we first sit down, they come and they take your order for drinks, and I asked for a bottled water and a glass of wine. And you asked for a bottled water and whatever you asked for. Mm-hmm. And we didn't get the water or the wine or any drink whatsoever the entire time we were there. So they've gone through the show. They've made the food. They've fried the rice. They've made the chicken and the lobster and the steak and the whole 9 yards. And they serve it to you. And we have nothing to drink. And everyone's looking around like, because it wasn't just us. Our entire table hadn't been served anything to drink. Yep. So I think that's why they got up and left.
They left quickly. Yeah.
They left really quickly. Like, they didn't even finish their food.
No. Yeah.
But the food was probably offensive to them.
But probably.
Because it was mediocre at best. Very small portions. And we had nothing to drink.
Yeah, the small portion thing I always expect when you have those all-inclusives and you're ordering off a menu, I
don't know. We never had that problem before, and we've stayed at all-inclusives all the time.
Yeah, no, it's a little different because they have such a opportunity on the menu, and not there because that was just a preset. Here's what you're eating.
Yeah,
don't really care. But at the other locations, it was a selection of a few different things, and people want to try different things, so they make them a smaller portion, but then you have to order like 3 appetizers and 3 dinners, and it was just kind of weird. But
yeah, gets a little crazy. So, all right, so that was the end of our first night. Was this dinner experience? Then we went to By the way, they did bring us our drinks after dinner had been served and eaten. They did bring us our drinks. Mm-hmm. So the other family had already left. So you and I were just sitting there, literally waiting for our drinks. And then they brought us dessert of some sort. I don't remember what it was.
It wasn't what they said it was.
Yeah.
It was. I think it was a cheesecake option, and it ended up being
flan
or something.
That's right. That's exactly
different.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So day 2, we have breakfast at the Dorado restaurant there. And there's, you guys, this is just, I get that I'm a travel snob, but I don't think that this is snobby. I don't think what I expected was snobby.
Yeah.
So there's no napkins on the tables. There's no spoons anywhere. They served me cold coffee, like not even a little warm, just straight up cold coffee. Except I didn't know it was cold. I asked for cream, and he didn't give me the cream. He poured the cream in. So then it was like a lot of milk with a little bit of cold coffee. And then when I ordered my breakfast, I ordered scrambled eggs with spinach and cheese and a side order of grits. And I got...
You had cheese with the grits, too.
Yeah. Well, I got scrambled eggs with spinach only. That terribly dry. And like the lumpiest grits I've ever had in my entire life. Which actually turned out to be okay because I had to eat them with a fork because there was no spoon. So the lumps held it onto the fork nicely.
But you would expect this to have, if you're ordering grits with cheese, it should be like shredded cheese. It was like a slice of American cheese just thrown on the top.
Thrown on top. Oh, God, it was so gross.
It was funny.
Yeah, funny. Anyway, what did you eat?
I had the omelet, which was, it was a pretty quickly made dried omelet with hash browns that were okay.
Okay.
But there was no napkin. There was no
salt or pepper,
ketchup. There was
nothing.
They just wanted people to come in, eat something, and turn around and go out in 10 minutes. And that's typically not us.
Yeah. So, and then we spent some time around the pool, but again, it was a very overcast kind of cool day. So there wasn't a lot of people around the pool. There certainly wasn't many people in the pool at all because it was just too chilly. Again, not the fault of the resort. I am not blaming them for that. And then we met a couple they were so sweet. They were from Utah. And she and I were talking about the resort. And she said, what do you think of the resort? And I said, it's fine. It's kind of how I said it. It's okay. I've stayed at nicer places because I don't want to, some people must think this is like a palace to them.
Oh, yeah. Many do, yeah.
And she goes, all right, tell me the truth. And I said, okay, this is like horrible. And she goes, oh my God, I thought I was the only one. She said, you're making me feel so much better. She had ordered the night before a vegan salad, right? This is the best. She had ordered a vegan salad from room service. I guess they had checked in late that night. And so none of the restaurants were open for dinner. So, but room service was 24/7. So she ordered a vegan salad. And I think I might get these times not quite correct, but I think she told me she ordered it 11:15 at night and they delivered it at like 1:15 in the morning.
That's about what I remembered, yeah.
Yeah. And when they delivered her vegan salad, it was covered in bacon. So she was like, what the hell? And so she was looking at the menu again going, okay, did I misread this?
It didn't say anything about bacon.
No, of course it didn't, because it's supposed to be a vegan salad. So she couldn't eat it. It's just these kind of things that just kept repeating themselves, these kind of mistakes. So the third day we decided we were going to Playa del Carmen because, again, it was overcast
again.
Yeah. So we just took a cab to Playa del Carmen, had a nice time, did a little shopping on Fifth Avenue. If you guys haven't been there, it's a tourist trap, I will tell you. Mm-hmm. But it's a fun little place to visit. Mm-hmm. And then we met our new friends for dinner that night, I think.
Correct.
And we went back to Dorado, and nobody had told us that it was a set menu for that particular night. Mm-hmm. And she's actually not even vegan. She just doesn't like to eat meat. But, she's like, if that bacon had been cooked on my salad, she's like, I totally would have eaten it, but it was just raw, like fatty bacon. So anyway, that particular night, it was a set menu that they didn't bother to tell you anywhere that it was a set menu. So of course they're only serving meat. It's surf and turf, so it's steak and lobster that night.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a whole ordeal. You know, they were like, "Oh well, let me check with the chef to see what he can serve you," and then he brought her like two
Potato
salads
soup.
and potato. Yeah, I don't know, some sort of soup and
Yeah.
salad, whatever. I felt so bad for her. All right, so day 4, where Kevin has to get up at, what did you get up at, 7 a.m., 6:30, 7?
That first time I went down. So there's so many people trying to get by the pool, and it's not that large of a pool.
No.
People were claiming seats very early in the day. I mean, we get down there and go to breakfast, and there was nothing left.
Right.
So,
And we didn't sleep in either. Like
no. Yeah, it was down there by 8.
8:30,
Yeah.
and yeah.
So I had to get up. I got down there at 7 and claimed the last 2 seats, I think, at that time.
That's right.
And they were
In the pool.
In the pool. So they had the seats, like two sections or 2 rows on the outside of the pool, and then one was on inside of the pool, which was whatever, 2 inches of water.
Yeah.
So the chair wasn't in the pool, or you weren't in the pool being wet, but the chair
Right.
was.
Yeah.
And they were just bad positioning, but at least we had something to sit in.
Yes, we did. So, you know, I don't know, if you're going to have an adults only section of a hotel, which really honestly was not an adults section of a hotel at all, because kids were running around everywhere. They could get into every section they wanted to. However, they weren't in our pool.
Yeah.
Right. And listen, I love kids. I'm not bashing children. I love them. But I don't want a vacation with them. You know, I like to vacation with adults. So there's like, I don't know, 300 people that want to be in the pool at one time, and there's maybe 70 seats to go around.
Yeah.
You would think they would have planned this a little better.
Well, yeah.
It was just crazy. Like the next day, he had to get up at 6:30 in the morning to make sure that we could get seats. So anyway, all right. So, New Year's Eve, we found out the day. Was it the day of New Year's Eve or the day prior to New Year's Eve?
The New Year's Eve day.
Okay. So New Year's Eve day, we already had reservations at a restaurant. And so I want to talk about that for a minute, because we were told that reservations were either at 5 p.m. or 9 p.m. That was it. And so originally we had made plans for a 9 p.m. sit-down dinner, thinking, okay, they must be stretching this out. Must be a nice dinner, right? You absolutely had to buy a bottle of wine to make this reservation.
Or any bottle of anything.
That's true. Yeah. But you had to buy you had to buy bottle service.
So yeah, as an all-inclusive, you now need to spend another $100-something for a overpriced bottle of wine.
Right. For New Year's Eve. So they actually had a pretty good wine selection. So I didn't have that big of a problem with it, because at least I can get a bottle of wine that I like.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was overpriced, but whatever. So, you just kind of have to expect that on New Year's Eve, I think.
Yeah, of course.
So we made these reservations, and then we ended up changing the reservation because we found out at the pool the day before New Year's Eve that the pool was having a New Year's Eve party for the adults only. And in order to attend this party, again, had to buy another bottle to make your reservation for a table around the pool for this party. So we went back and we changed our reservation from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock, because the party at the pool was supposed to start at 10 p.m.
And we also heard from another couple we were talking to, the place that we were originally going to go to at 9 was that steakhouse, and they said it is horrible.
Yeah.
So like avoid that if you can. We're like, well, we just made a reservation there, so we better go back to the other side of the resort and check back in with these people and see if we can change it, which we
Right.
did.
Yeah. So we did. And I changed the reservation to a different restaurant, which was Armadillo, I think. And the food was mediocre, but it wasn't terrible. So, but the problem with our New Year's Eve dinner was, first of all, we were told either 5 o'clock or 9 o'clock. We show up at 5 o'clock and we're one of two couples there in the whole restaurant. Two couples. So I'm annoyed with that because I'm like, what is going on? And then this particular restaurant is next to the family pool where there is a bar adjacent to that pool right next to the restaurant that we're at. Mm-hmm. And there's 20 people gathered around this pool, all doing shots and being loud and obnoxious. And I'm all for having fun and doing that. And I'm usually one of them in there, right?
Yep.
But not when we've had to pay for this exclusive dinner.
What was expected to be a very nice high-end dinner.
Right. And instead it was shot, 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 shot. Like, that's all we heard. And, swearing and, again, I don't have a problem with that. Obviously, you've listened to this podcast. I swear. But it was just inappropriate for that particular time.
Yes, it seemed to be.
Yeah. So
ended up it really wasn't.
No.
But
we kept asking when they were going to close the pool bar, and she kept saying they're going to close.
So, yeah.
And that's the other thing you guys have to understand, that I do speak Spanish. So it wasn't that any of these problems was due to a language barrier. Mm-hmm. It just wasn't. So anyway, so we had this mediocre dinner with 20 of the uninvited guests that we didn't know at the pool. And then we were killing time.
Well, they attempted, and they did a pretty good job. We slowed it down as much as possible. This wasn't a 3-hour dinner or 2.5 hours like we thought.
No.
It was the regular menu. What do you want? And we ordered an appetizers off that little menu, knowing that they were going to be small. We ordered a few.
Yeah.
And then like, what do you was your entree? I'm like, we don't want to order that yet.
Yeah.
But we almost had to, and she came, they just were pushing to get us out of there because they were bringing people in every half an hour.
Yeah, which is not what we were told.
Yeah. It wasn't.
Like, you heard him say 5 or 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, there was no every half hour choice. Who wants to eat dinner at 5 o'clock at night? Well, us and an 87-year-old couple.
The other 87-year-old couple.
Not the other. We're not 87.
By the way. Just saying.
So, all right. So now it's New Year's Eve. We've had this mediocre dinner, and we're going to go up to the casino and spend some time before the party starts at 10 o'clock at our pool.
Can I specify the casino?
Yes, please. Please do.
It's a casino, which, first of all, I didn't ever really know there was a casino there until like the day before we left. So when we got there, it's like, oh, well, at least maybe if we need to burn some time or something, we can go check it out. So we got there, obviously, after this dinner. We went there. The casino doesn't open till 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And closes at like 2 a.m. And
it's on the kids' side.
Right. That's the weirdest thing.
It's on the kids' side of the hotel.
Yeah. But it oh, my God. So, and there was probably, I don't know, 25 or 30 slot machines at best.
That are from like 1983.
Yeah.
I swear they were the worst. And then 2 tables and a roulette table.
Yeah.
Right?
Like 2 cards of the blackjack and 3-card poker, and then a roulette table.
And that's it. And the
Which
whole
hardly
room.
anybody was. Well, there's hardly anybody in there at all.
Well, because it sucks.
It was terrible. We ordered a drink, thinking, well, number one, we're at an all-inclusive resort. Number two, you're at a casino.
Casino, right?
Drinks are $6, so we had to pay, pay for
like,
drinks.
What? We're in a casino. Anyway, so we wasted very little time there because It was like stepping into a time machine and stepping into like 1983 video arcades. That's how old these machines
Which
were.
is maybe why I was on the kids' side.
Oh my God, it was so bizarre.
I thought I was playing Pac-Man for money, but I don't know if it might have been.
Pac-Man would have been, it was
More
more like
fun.
Atari. Yeah, it was more like Pong, you know? Do you remember the old Pong?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Awesome.
All right, so then we are heading to the room to go get dressed up for our party at the pool. And as we are walking towards our room, the party's already going on. It's like 9 o'clock and the party's already started. We were told it started at 10, right? So I'm again totally pissed off because I'm like, why can't they get the fucking times right for any of these events?
Yeah. They didn't know times of anything. They didn't know where stuff was at the
No.
resort. You'd ask them for, which, like when we first got there, where's the casino? He goes,
Not sure. Yeah.
I think it's that way. I'm like, how do you not know where it is?
I know.
Anyway.
Same
yeah,
thing
so
with
that's-
restaurants. Same thing.
Yeah,
Nobody
everything.
knew anything. Nobody knew anything.
So I wasn't too surprised that they were already started. However, they weren't doing the bottle service yet. They didn't do that until 10.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah, but there's still we instead of going to the stupid casino. We could have sat there and watched the band play and
right.
You know, the
There
pool
was
bar,
a bar
the
there.
pool bar and
Yeah.
the other bars were open there.
Yeah. We could
So
have
you
drank
could
for
just-
free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so anyway, like many people did around there, but
God, it was just weird. The whole experience was weird and unpleasant. Like everything was unpleasant. That smell that permeated from our balcony also kind of permeated in different spots throughout that resort. So just out of the blue.
Well, there were so many, like in between some of the rooms, there was water features.
Yeah.
But none of them were moving.
Right. So
I
it's
think that's
stagnant
where-
water.
Right. And
Yeah.
just from everywhere. And every once in a while, just walking down the hallway, you'd catch a whiff of that. It's like,
Oh my God.
And everybody was talking about it. I mean,
It was
Everybody
horrible.
was complaining.
Horrible. It was horrible. And yeah. Okay. Have you
Got it.
hashtag horrible. Also, so I want to get back to the pool. So our first pool day is New Year's Eve day, right? Our first good, like the sun is shining, it's 80 degrees, everybody wants to be at the pool, everybody is at the pool day, right? It's super busy, and they start building the stage for the party that they're having.
Which is
in the
pool.
water.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're putting the stage above the water, right? So, but they're building it from the bottom of the pool up while everybody is partying and drinking and having a good time, and they're telling people to get out.
Yeah.
They're like, well, we got to build the stage. You got to leave.
They started moving
like,
people.
what?
They started telling people they had to go and move their chairs out of the way because they were putting up all the wiring, and
Speakers, and
it was like, why are you doing this at 1 o'clock in the afternoon?
it was a clusterfuck, you guys.
Yeah,
it just
it was
it
pretty
just was. And then the next day, again, beautiful, sunny, gorgeous day, they left the stage up on top of the pool, which easily took half that pool up.
Yep.
So they left it up until like 4 o'clock that afternoon when they started to break it down. You've just ruined everybody's pool day
Yeah.
because you can only access half the pool.
Right.
Oh my God. It was just bad, you guys. It was just bad. And even if it wasn't New Year's Eve, it would still be bad.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. So while we have lots of respect for everybody who works at hotels, and we really do, we're not trying to bash any one person. I'm bashing the resort as a whole and saying, like, this just was not a good experience at all. And I've never, ever looked forward to coming home from a vacation until this one. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to leave.
Yeah.
Like the other thing was there was nothing to do.
No. Yeah, nothing
Nothing.
besides, which, I mean, I'm usually pretty good with, poolside, beachside, whatever, and have a couple drinks, but only so much sun the Irish women can take.
Yeah.
Before you need to kind of get inside and hide. But then there was nothing.
There was nothing.
And dinners, like we're saying, they forced them in. You were in and out of dinner in half an hour.
Yeah. So you couldn't even enjoy a meal.
Let's go up on our patio and listen to some music.
Oh, wait, we can't.
That smells like skunk.
Oh, my God.
Well, it still was it's a getaway for me, and that's my time to have a vacation. So it's still awesome to be on vacation with you.
I know, baby.
As glamorous as it usually was.
It's always good to get away with you. And somebody had commented on Facebook to me and said, you two could have fun in a paper bag. And she's right. That's true. We can. But, and we made the best of it. Believe me, we did. Mm-hmm. But it just, I could not get over just how bad it was like at every turn,
Yeah, it's something.
Let's turn right and figure out maybe there's something here. Oh no, it smells. And let's go here. And oh no, that's closed. And let's go here. And it was just so bizarre.
Yeah.
And then the only other things that they offered were the spa, which you're not a spa person. Mm-mm. And I can't spend, $500 a day on spas, which I certainly had the time because there was nothing else to do. So there was the spa, and then you could book excursions for, of course, an extra fee. And
that's okay. But we typically don't go off site when we do.
We don't have to.
Right.
There's always things to do.
Right.
Yeah. There was nothing.
No.
Nothing to do. All right, so there you have it. There is our review of our last vacation. I have to say, Kevin is the hardest working man I know. He really, truly is. And he only takes one vacation a year, and for it to be this shitty was really sad to me. I want him to enjoy his vacations, and we tried really hard to enjoy it.
I did. It was good to get some time off and sit in the sun and the beach and
that's
it. The sand, looking for something to do. No, just kidding. So,
all right. So, thanks for joining us, everybody. And I also wanted to throw in there. First of all, we're up to over 1,000 listeners now, so I'm super excited, and we have lots of different countries. So I just really wanted to thank everybody that listens. But I want to ask everybody to subscribe, please, because subscriptions to this podcast is how it's going to keep going, right? I know I have the listeners, but I have very few subscribers. So if you could just hit the subscribe button on Apple, Spotify, Audible, YouTube, wherever you are. If you could do that, I'd very much appreciate it.
And leave comments if you want to hear something or have comments on something we said.
Yeah, please.
We're always interested in hearing that as well.
I love it when people give me feedback and say they want to hear about one thing or another. So, you can do that at a couple of different places. You could go to our website, which is lifewithacheriontop.com, and you can leave comments there, or you can email me directly at lifewithacheriontop@gmail.com. And again, Cheri is spelled Cheri. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll talk again next week.
See you later.
Bye.